Hi, hello, how are you? And welcome to the first build of, I guess, Simsmas is what we could call it. I'm excited. I put up my Christmas tree today and I was like, today we're going to do a build and it's going to be Christmassy and it's going to be great and it's going to be different from what I usually do. And it really is different from what I usually do. For one, it's small and I never build small builds. I talked about this a little bit with the bungalow I built for Brindleton Bay. That build, it was so hard to keep it so small. And so I was like, let's go smaller. I don't think this is technically a tiny home. I don't think it's small enough for that, but it is small. So I'm excited. I also never build with the Granite Falls stuff. And I did. I built with a lot of Granite Falls stuff, actually. Also, I built in Granite Falls, as you can see. And then another thing that I did that's different is I didn't normally go in to build. I bulldozed the entire lot. This one, I kind of wanted to work with the lot as it was. And I know that wouldn't work with a lot of different lots in The Sims, but this one was just the plain campground in Granite Falls. And so it was pretty empty anyway. So I just got rid of all the camping stuff and I left all the trees and things. And I was like, all right, we're working with this as if I was going in and building a building in a real place. And we're like, okay, we want to preserve as much as possible. So yeah, also, this house is really dark. There are lights in it in the end. I don't mean it dark like that, but it's just a lot of browns and a lot of dark tones, a lot of reds. Colors I don't really enjoy usually. And I don't know, I just owned it because I wanted it to be really cozy and really cute. But the main idea for this was to have kind of a Christmas cabin that was small. And so, but I don't know, when I think cabin that is kind of isolated in the woods, I don't think like these immaculate cabins. I think like a one-room cabin. And so that's what I went for. This cabin has, you walk in, there's like a kitchen that just takes up one wall. There's a small little living room with a fireplace. And then there's a kind of a quote-unquote bedroom, but the bedroom doesn't have a door and it doesn't really have a proper separating wall either. It's just kind of there. Like it's a separated space, but it's not separate from the rest of the living area in the way that you would think of a normal bedroom. I don't know, I really like it. It's really cozy. And you'll notice halfway through, or not, I guess not halfway through. Well, yeah, halfway through decorating, I realized I forgot a Christmas tree. And that was kind of the whole point was like, hey, let's start doing Christmas stuff. And let's forget the tree. But no, I put a tree in there. I also end up putting some lights on the cabin and making it pretty festive. I didn't want to go overboard though, because it's a really small space. And I feel like a lot of its charm is that it's small and it's real nature-y and stuff like that. And I thought filling it with a lot of wreaths and garlands and Christmas lights on the inside especially would ruin that. So there are Christmas elements to it. I didn't use one of the Christmas fireplaces because I didn't fit the building well to me. I used one of the Brindleton Bay, or the Cats and Dogs, not Brindleton Bay. These fireplaces not exclusive to that location. I used a lot of the Cats and Dogs fireplace, and then you notice I used the Cats and Dogs flannel curtains because, like I said, I haven't used any of the outdoor retreat stuff really to build, so I didn't notice that there aren't any, like there should be curtains and rugs and like all kinds of stuff, like really rustic woodsy stuff, and there's not. And I was very disappointed because I feel like flannel fits so well into this build, a lot more than I would think it would in a beachy setting like Brindleton Bay. But I don't know, I'm glad I have it now, one way or the other. But yeah, I also don't, right now, you'll see in the video, there's a couch in the living room. That ends up going away for the tree. And then I don't put it back because it seemed too crowded. I also removed some of those chairs. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it. But as a playable space and having to bring a sim in there to take screenshots, like onto the lot, I think it's a really easy build to play in if you're going to use it in Granite Falls for like camping, or even if you change the lot type. Well, I guess you could put this build anywhere, but you put it on a residential lot and your sim is going to live in it. I think it's super cool because there's not a lot in it. So your sim can just move around. And I think it also encourages you, and I was thinking about this specifically as building a cabin in the woods type theme, that when there's not a lot of stuff to do in the cabin or in the house, I guess there's more reason for your sim to go out into the world and explore. Because I could have built a cabin and filled it with TVs and computers, and I almost said board games, but that's not a huge thing in The Sims. We have the llama stuff. But anyway, and then you could have been like, okay, cool, here's a cabin, and I'm never, ever going to leave. But I wanted to feel like a place where you go to be close to nature and where it's peaceful, and technology is not peaceful. So there's not a single TV in this house at all. Isn't that great? I mean, even in my Witch in the City build, and she doesn't like technology, she still has a TV, a fancy one. There's not a TV or a computer, or there's not even a microwave or a coffee pot in this house. The only electronics in this house are, well, I guess they're not technically electronics, they're appliances, are the refrigerator and the stove. And they're not terribly fancy either. So I also put there's a little fireplace off to the side in the front yard with some logs to sit on, because I could just picture like some Sims sitting around the fire at night with hot chocolate and roasting marshmallows. And I know this is way more detailed than The Sims, but you just imagine things, and I feel like that's what happens. That's what your Sims will be doing out there by the fire. I also play with the Christmas lights a little bit. You'll see once the build goes a little more toward the exterior. But I didn't want this to be like super fancy either. Like, I wanted to really put together really simple, small Christmas, but not super fancy. So what I did is the string lights aren't hung super evenly. Like, it's like someone they put them up and they didn't really know what they were doing, but they had their staple gun and they're like, hey, staple, 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 Christmas lights. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing when they light up. You know, that kind of thing where you just want some lights up and you don't care if they're like in a specific pattern or if they're spaced evenly. So that's what I was doing there. And there's one wreath in this house on the door. I thought about putting them on every window, but then again, I was like, no, this is going to be a little simple because if you put it in one of the cities or something, there'd be more people around. I'm like, this is in the middle of nowhere. This is someone's private little cozy cabin. So they don't need to put a wreath on every window because they're decorating for themselves. They're not decorating for their neighbors or anyone else to see, really. But yeah, I put this log textured panel thing as the inside and outside of the cabin, so it looked like it was actually built with logs. But I don't like it. I like what it's supposed to be, but I don't really like it as it is. It feels to me more like planks than like logs. I feel like it needs something to make it just feel a little more round. Obviously, it's not going to be actually round because the walls are flat, but just something so it doesn't seem like they're log planks. Because I think log cabin, I think like the round logs that are stacked on top of each other and then they're filled in between, and I just didn't feel that with this, but I still wanted to use it because I still wanted to feel like a true log cabin. That's the same reason why I didn't put the logs on the outside and then like paint or wallpaper on the inside. I wanted it to be like, this is what it is. This is a log cabin. Your walls are your walls. There's no inside-outside wall. There's no doubling. It's what it is. But yeah, that's this build. You can find it on the gallery. I'm going to try to keep up with Sims. Fingers crossed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!